Virgo, you've entered the house of Sigils. Welcome in. We'll begin today with the Secret of the High Priestess spread. All the cards have been shuffled, energy has been cleared. I have all my tools of the magician. Let's begin. We'll start off by keeping all of the cards turned, and only as we move through the reading will we cycle them and turn them over one at a time to get the truest reading and of the truest energy. And I will not be reading reversals. I usually do not read reversals with the Thoth Tarot deck. With the Secret of the High Priestess spread, we have that which is it, that which crosses it. We have the waning energy of the moon, we have the current present full moon energy, and then we have the waxing, that which is gaining influence. On this side we have that which is in the dark, although you may be consciously aware of its spark, of its rising. Then we have that which is in the light, that which you are totally aware of, and then what to do or advice. And then only at the end do we reveal the Secret of the High Priestess. Now the Secret of the High Priestess is saved till the end, and once revealed, if it is a trump card or major arcana card, then she has revealed her secret. However, if it is not, if it's a court card or one of the minor arcana, the High Priestess keeps her secret. We will look at it, however, but I won't go into depth on it. Alrighty, let's take a look here. And out of the gate, we have the art card. Stepping through that pressure cooker, right? Stepping through that doorway. And the Knight of Swords crossed. So, traditionally in Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot, the Knights are actually kings. So to think of it that way would be the King of Swords, but in the Thoth Tarot it is the Knight of Swords. It's very, very swift, sort of fast-moving, decisive energy here with the King of Swords. And as you can see him moving through the air on his sword with his sort of fairy or dragonfly wings moving quickly. So that which crosses, though. Let's take a peek at the art card. Traditionally, a replacement for judgment in traditional Rider-Waite Tarot. The art card is the energy of Sagittarius, which kings are then fire. So the King of Swords would be the heir of fire. Right. And so, but with the art card, we're talking about the unification of opposites or balance, interchange and transformation, alchemy, quantum leaping, a creative power. I can imagine there's some sort of project you're working on, Virgo, or trying to manifest something into your own reality. So the Latin sentence that describes the art card translates to examine the inner realms of the earth. By cleansing, you'll find the hidden stone. So very alchemical, very, very magical card. It has many different meanings on different levels. I can't help but think that it is challenging you to look inward. To rectify something inside, but in this sort of phase of looking inside and integrating two opposites, whatever those two opposites are, transformation can occur at that point. But the energy is sort of one that cannot tolerate any impulses from the outside, any more energy coming in from the outside. It's as I'd said earlier, to find that hidden stone, one must look within. So it is very possible that someone is, or a group of people are trying to give you advice on something, and you're trying to figure something out for yourselves, However, all of the advice seems to be overloading the system, and this is asking you to look inside, sort of discover that philosopher's stone within. It's not always easy to go inside and to look for that secret, and maybe the high priestess will hold the key later, or maybe not. Maybe she'll keep that to herself. And more of this will unfold as we go through the reading. So let's take a peek again at the Knight of Swords, or the King of Swords in traditional Rider-Waite. And as I had said before, the Knights in Thoth Tarot represent kings in the Rider-Waite Smith. And so, as we take a peek here, the Knight of Swords, this is very much, like I explained earlier, the fiery aspect of air. So goal-oriented, ambition, flexible, intellectual powers, passion. So it's as if we have that need to look inside for the stone, but then the energy of the Knight of Swords or the King of Swords is 100% on board with that idea and with that goal. Strong intellectual determination, unified and deep emotional perceptiveness. The idea here is very much Virgo energy. So only ideas that are sort of charged with passion and emotion sometimes seem valid for the Virgo energy. Even though they may not realize it or understand what's going on inside, sometimes those decisions that feel like they lack that emotional power behind them, that little bit of oomph, seem to sort of fall short or kind of take a backseat to the ones that have that really intense gut check feeling in there that helps you move towards that goal. You for whatever reason, you're in a great position to forge these plans, to fire up the fires of the forge and to begin work, that inner fire, and to begin the work. And the King of Swords sort of providing the billows energy of the fire billows to stoke that. That's what the art card and the Knight of Swords would indicate. There needing to be sort of this inner transformation of fire, and then the Knight of Swords coming in and saying, okay, I've got what you need. I've got your intellectual passion. I've got your fire, or I've got the wind to stoke your fire. It's a good time to make plans, set goals, and then to bring them into fruition. A question then is, I feel like you know what that goal is 100%, whether it's looking for that job that you need, or the passion to bring forth a new project that you're working on. Ask yourself this: once you've achieved it, what will you do with it? What will the next goal be for you? Right? This is actually super positive. I believe that you know your destination, you know your goal, you know what you want to create in that fire, and you have the spiritual and the intellectual backing through that king, through that Knight of Swords, that is pushing and fueling the fire for you. And very much Virgo energy will be applied correctly, right? You'll know where to sort of stoke the fire in certain areas. Do I give a little air here at the bottom, or do I circle around and give a little more energy there? So let's take a look at the waning, present, and waxing moon energies, the energies that are evolving around this idea of what you're cooking up here inside this philosopher's stone that you're baking. So first up, we will read the waning moon energy. So that which is currently sort of exiting the scene. 10, the card of ruin. 10 of Swords. All the swords have been broken. Present energy, 10 of discs. Interesting, 2 10s in a row. Ooh, and a 6. Waning moon, energy that is leaving, with the 10 of swords. Current energy, 10 of discs. And the energy coming into your life, the 6 of discs. Let's take a peek first at the 10 of swords. And this is sort of that bird cage, or being caught in this place mentally. Very much sun and moon in Gemini energy. Sort of being in that mental place that almost feels insane. And that one, you have that thought, and then as soon as you have that positive thought, that negative thought comes along with it. And speaks very much to the inner forging that sometimes happens with that art card. This could indicate for you a broken heart. It could indicate for you destructive energy of accumulated anger and negative thinking. Possibly you've lost a job, possibly you've been through a breakup. This is the end of that intellectual air. It is the biggest challenge in the swords suit. But the good news is that once we've gotten to the 9 and gotten to the 10, we're at that ending and we are ready to begin again with that Ace of Swords. And so, not to fret too much, because this is in the position of the energy that is waning out or leaving your energetic circle. And I would imagine that you've already taken that first step of recognizing the fears and the disappointments that have happened recently, which has sparked this new reforging of your internal awareness, and possibly even the external along with it. But you again have the power of the Knight of Swords to push you through that fire. One thing that can be done with this card is to take a look at what your biggest fear is, to sort of help clear this energy. Take a look at it and write it down, and write it down what it would look like if your entire world was destroyed, right? It sort of helps you die that little death that certain philosophers describe. If you can die the little death before the big death happens, it isn't quite as hard to take. And so, not necessarily physical or emotional ruin, but in thought form. You can imagine something recent has happened to you that is now beginning to heal. And interestingly enough, in this present situation, you have the 10 of discs. So the 10s, a lot of people believe that the 10s are the culmination of the energy. Actually, the 9s of discs, the 9 of discs, or the 9 of swords, the 9 of each suit is the culmination or the highest point of that energy. And then once we reach the 10, it's sort of symbolizing the completion on the tree of life. And all the 10s in the Thoth deck sort of have that tree of life configuration. And you can see that both with the 10 of swords and the 10 of cups, you can see that configuration quite clearly there. But the good news, moving into that present full moon energy, we have Mercury in Virgo. And I'm not sure if that would be considered a power card, but we do have some Virgo energy here. And as you can see with the discs in the 10 position, they are aligned to that tree of life as well. The discs in that 10 position speak to, obviously, wealth. And it doesn't necessarily have to mean physical coinage, physical bank account. This can mean inner wealth, right? This can mean emotional wealth. It can mean so many different things in that idea of being happy and rich and wealthy. But the ability or the recognition that inner clarity, the inner wealth, the ability to share it with others. It's there. It's overwhelming, right? It's actually being asked in the next position of you to share that inner wealth and knowledge that maybe you've gained by going through this pressure cooker with the assistance of the fiery air of the Knight of Swords, sort of depleting this mental anguish, helping you to realize and recognize what you have in front of you, and then pushing you towards success with the sixes. So the 10 would then ask, obviously, do you know about your inner wealth, and do you share that with others? You've done what you've done in your life to attract the people that you have around you right now. And you've created every situation in your life that you're currently in. It's not that the fates have just happened to you, right? And everything is up to the changes of the wind. You've actually created this scenario for yourself in life. But the realization that you are internally rich, and that the art card is asking you to forge a way to clear out these thoughts and feelings, recognize your inner wealth, and then share it with others. The Six of Pentacles. And let's back a bit and take a peek at that. So the Moon in Taurus energy with the Six of Discs, Six of Pentacles, external manifestation of the inner, success and transformation. So exactly what I was just explaining. So, what does that mean for you in the moment? What does that success mean for you in the moment? Is it emotional energy? Is it the growth of inner depths? Is it communicating the growth of that inner depth of beauty that you've cultivated and brought into reality? And I can imagine with that sort of Virgo perfectionist energy, the questions are still going to rise. As you have that positive question, am I good enough for this? Am I good enough for this person? Am I good enough for this job? The next thought comes, maybe not. Maybe there's something wrong. Maybe I won't be accepted. Maybe there's somebody better for the job. Like those thoughts are still going to come, but it's the recognition and the meditation that the thought will come. We'll let it come. We'll let the Knight of Swords help take that thought, turn it into something positive, recognition of the inner wealth, and then success in the outer realms. I might encourage you to visualize what that looks like. Go through that process with each thought that happens. I am a Venus in Virgo, so understand what that means. To have that really great thought about something and then immediately the opposite thought. And not only on a larger sense, but a moment to moment inside the pressure cooker of that art card. Let the energy of that Knight of Swords help you burn away the negative, and to recognize what you actually truly have inside, and then put it to work in the physical realm, or the emotional realm, or the inner realm, whatever that needs to manifest. Let's take a look then at what we can see clearly in the light. Again, so we have this another card of swords. We have the seven. We have the sevens, right? So the sevens take the sixes and sort of upset them again, coming back to balance in the 8. So the Seven of Swords, a card of futility. So exactly what I was explaining. As you go through these processes, right, you know that things pop up, that whether it's a thought or a feeling inside, that this process seems to be futile. To have a great thought, then immediately have the negative thought that goes along with it. And this is just another illustration of what is in the light right now. You know what you're doing it. You know you're doing what you're doing to yourself. You know you're having these struggles. And so it seems futile, which is exactly what the Seven of Swords don't know if that's in focus. Exactly what the Seven of Swords is saying. It's too many obstacles, too many things in the way. Let's take a quick look at it. Get a little bit closer into the card a bit. So some of the questions, right, pop up, and the key here is to realize that all the fears that happen, all the negative thoughts that come after the positive thoughts, are not grounded in reality. They are thoughts. They are things that the mind does without prompting and without asking. They are not necessarily real, although they can be. Fears can definitely be real. But the Seven of Swords is indicating to you that your fears most likely, and usually, especially in thought forms, have nothing to do with reality. And so it's admonishing you to wake up and see what's really happening in your own mind, or what's really happening in your environment. In what ways, then, it's also a recognition of how are you limiting yourself with your own beliefs, or your own programmed beliefs, or beliefs that have been instilled to you by others, things you may not even prescribe to, or understand, or realize that you are prescribing to, right? So an example of a good thought and a bad thought would be, oh, this is so great. I've got all these blessings, everything's happening great in my life. Oh, or maybe I've gotten a raise, or I've gotten a girlfriend, I've gotten a car, right? But then the next thought is, oh, this is too much good to get all at once. Waiting for that shoe to drop, right? Wondering whether or not this is actually real or actually happening to you. But I think you know what's going on inside here, right? Other ideas could be that it's just too good to be true, or there's this weird sort of mental fog or oily surface that's sort of clouding everything. Or I don't have the energy. Oh, this is such a great idea, but I don't have the energy to do it. This card is asking you to recognize that. Recognize your fears and let the power of that Knight of Wands ignite the forge of that pressure cooker art card and get rid of it and burn it out, because and go through it. I'm not saying skip it. Like, go through the emotions of it, go through the process of it, because a lot of times that's the only way to heal. This is so far a great reading for the idea of healing. Let's take a look at this point, the energy which is in the darkness, but you may sense sort of already coming or brewing to the surface. The Prince of Cups. So the princes are air, and we know that cups are water and emotion. So this would be the airy part of water, right? So the steam that is created by this pressure cooker and the cooling off and the constant heating and cooling down. The Prince of Cups is an interesting card for me. Let's dig into the Prince of Cups a little bit closer. So there, like I was explaining, the airy aspect of water, desires, wishes, cravings, the possibility for transformation. So this is asking you to accept your needs and your passions, whether it be physical, whether it be emotional, whether it be sexual, maybe whether it be intellectual. Let them come out, let them enter your awareness, and give yourself up totally to the experience. Like, let it happen. That's what I was just saying a second ago. It's interesting that pops up. Let the thought come with that Ten of Swords. Set it down in the forge. Ignite the fire with the Knight of Swords. Let it burn out. Right? Let it heat up, so that you can then reveal what inner wealth you have already and share it with others. Even though it feels like it's not going anywhere. Even though it feels like you're stuck in this quagmire, because Giving yourself up completely and totally to this process then allows for the Six of Cups pleasure. Sixes are super positive in tarot. Let's take a quick peek into the Six of Cups. It's interesting because when I read for myself, I have all these thoughts in my mind, like I can come to these conclusions. It's a little more tricky when aligning with that quark that might be 3,000 miles away, and sort of bringing that energy into this reading. It becomes so powerful sometimes that it's nice to have a guide to move through and to continue to solidify the message. Otherwise, there would be no purpose for these, right? So, giving yourself up to the process of forging each negative thought through that fire, burning away the old and watching the new appear in the Six of Cups. So this is very much the sun in Scorpio. It's enjoyment, it's pleasure in relationships, it's an exchange of heart energy, emotional renewal, exchange of sexual energy. I can't help but think this may be someone that may be struggling with their sexuality. Now that I'm looking at it, it's very interesting. Like, how am I accepted? How do I fit in? If that's someone that, if you are someone that's struggling with that, share it in the comments. It's a very valid thing. It's a very valid thing to struggle with. The message of the Six of Cups is that even though all these things are happening, even though these thoughts are coming and you're putting something through this pressure cooker, whether it be a thought or whether it be an idea, is that the Six of Cups message is to enjoy what life offers you right now. It's right in front of you. It's sitting right in front of you. This really is the best way to express yourself and your gratitude, is to find the things in your immediate environment, accept them, appreciate them, and engage with them, interact with them, and realize the pleasures that are right in front of you in life right now. But the underlying theme is there something, some old belief that you're holding on to that you need to or should let go of? And then enjoy your own emotional wealth and to share it with others or share it with your partner. And to ignite that passion inside, whether that's through writing or sharing how you feel with someone or to someone, or embracing your own sexuality and what it is that you need to do that. But be your own emotional support by going through this fire, by going through this idea. Okay, the time has come to see if the High Priestess has revealed her secret. Now remember, and you can put it in the comments below what you think it might be. Remember, the secret of the High Priestess, if it is a trump card or a major arcana card, then the secret is revealed, and we'll dig into that a little deeper. However, if it's not, I will flip the card back over and we won't go into this card. However, all of the other cards still retain their value in the messages that they give. And so the Queen of Cups. Although a lot can be said of the Queen of Cups, and a lot can be said in this reading, the secret has not been revealed. The High Priestess is asking you to go through this process by taking these thoughts through the forge and figuring out the secret of the fire, the secret of the forge through the art card. I think as we are sitting and living and breathing, I would like to pull a couple of oracle cards for you. Let's take a quick peek at the Hecatan path. Let's go ahead and see what the Hecatan path is asking us to focus on. Nurturing. Nurturing that inner child. Nurturing those places that need to be nurtured. Nurturing those things that possibly need to go through the fire and possibly need to be brought to the surface, nurturing that emotional child inside. Pamator, mother of all, nurturing. Hecate guides us into this world. She will one day guide us out. Now is the perfect time for respite, for healing, preparation for the next leg of the journey. Remove all pressures and complexities, and return to a simpler way of living. Perhaps, if we act childishly or expect Hecate to fix all of our problems without being prepared to do the necessary work ourselves, we can expect to encounter her material disappointment and chastisement. So the message is very easily tieable to this forging process of each emotion or thought and nurturing, sort of taking that idea into the womb and nurturing it and transforming it from a little zygote into an actual human being. And at the same time, understanding that you have to go through the process. There's no way to quickly take a 9-month pregnancy per se, and turn it into a human being. The process has to be gone through. So, very good message. Let's get you an angel number. Angel number 2424. If we add those together, comes to 12, which then added together again comes to 3. 2424, good times, relaxation, joy, harmony, love, kindness, happiness, support, and unity. You are deserving of affection and relaxation and joy. Open up to your family and friends about your feelings, and you'll find everyone aligned and working together harmoniously. Many people are cheering for you, and when you spread love, it returns to you multiplied. So it ties in quite well, right? Finding that thing that needs to go through the forge. Finding that harmonious, supportive happiness. And finding your love and expressing it and letting it become pleasure.